In a world where noise prevails, there is a place where knowledge breathes. A medium designed for those who value clarity, depth, and the essence of information. We are a space to understand, reflect, and connect with the world from a different perspective. Every story we choose, every fact we share is crafted to offer you what truly matters. Without distractions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Global AI, the program where journalism inspires, informs, and analyzes with objectivity. I'm Christine Harris.
And I'm John Andrews. Thank you for joining us tonight as we delve into a topic that's capturing the attention of the entire world. This marks a pivotal moment in global politics, the return of Donald Trump to the presidency of the United States.
With his inauguration scheduled for January 20th, 2025, the nation is bracing for profound transformations. The decisions made by this administration will not only shape the direction of American society, but also resonate internationally, influencing everything from relations with Europe to the future of artificial intelligence and human rights.
Throughout tonight's report, we'll examine the most significant aspects of this new era, including strategic alliances, controversial policy announcements, and the economic and social challenges that lie ahead. Stay with us as we explore every angle of this historic moment.
Donald Trump, a figure as polarizing as he is captivating, is set to return to power following his historic victory in the 2024 elections. During his second inauguration, which will take place at the iconic U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C., the Republican magnate promises to drastically shift the policies of his predecessor and solidify a more conservative and nationalist vision.
But this new chapter does not come without controversy. Major tech companies like Meta, Amazon, and OpenAI have made significant contributions to the inauguration ceremony, raising questions about the relationship between the Trump administration and these tech giants. Mark Zuckerberg has already met with the president-elect, while Jeff Bezos and Sam Altman have expressed interest in collaborating with his agenda, highlighting the potential to lead the United States into what they call the age of AI.
As the date approaches, the world is watching closely. What does this return mean for the future of the country and the world? With this new administration, promises of change present both opportunities and challenges for every sector.
Stay with us as we explore the key policies, the players involved, and the potential implications of this historic event.
Donald Trump's proposed policies, such as the elimination of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and the restriction of gender recognition, have sparked widespread debate. Today, we delve into the social and political implications of these measures with two distinguished experts, conservative political strategist David Cooper and civil rights scholar Lisa Morgan. David Cooper is a seasoned political strategist with over 15 years of experience in public policy and conservative governance strategies. Lisa Morgan is a renowned civil rights scholar who has led numerous research initiatives promoting inclusion and equity in public and private sectors. Welcome to both of you. David, let's start with you. From your perspective, what objectives does the Trump administration aim to achieve with these policies? And how are these changes justified from a conservative standpoint?
Thank you, Christine. These policies align with a vision that prioritizes societal stability and cultural consistency. From a conservative perspective, programs focusing on diversity often create ideological divisions. The administration's goal is to simplify governance and emphasize equality under the law, avoiding what they see as unnecessary categorizations or privileges.
Lisa, from your experience, how would these measures affect vulnerable communities that rely on such programs?
Thank you, Christine. The consequences would be profound and detrimental. Programs like these are not about giving special privileges. They're about leveling the playing field for communities historically marginalized. Eliminating them would reverse decades of progress toward equity and opportunity.
David, critics argue that these measures could heighten social polarization. How do you respond to that claim?
That's a valid concern, but I'd argue that much of the polarization stems from these programs themselves. By removing them, the administration aims to create a unified societal framework rooted in shared values, though I acknowledge that the approach may appear divisive initially.
Lisa, is there room for negotiating policies that promote inclusion without fueling what some call artificial divisions?
Absolutely, Christine. Inclusion strengthens society. It doesn't divide it. Effective policies can bridge divides by ensuring everyone has access to opportunities while respecting individual differences. Ignoring diversity only undermines the fabric of a modern, democratic society.
To wrap up, for both of you, what do you predict will happen to America's social fabric if these policies are fully implemented? David, we'll start with you.
If implemented thoughtfully, these policies could reduce tensions and strengthen national cohesion. However, they will require careful communication to avoid misinterpretations and resistance.
On the contrary, I foresee fragmentation and exclusion. Ignoring diversity alienates communities and weakens the very principles of freedom and equality that define America. This is not the path to unity.
David Cooper and Lisa Morgan, thank you for sharing your insights. These discussions are essential as we navigate this critical period. We'll continue to monitor these developments here at Global AI. Thank you both for joining us.
Donald Trump has made it clear. There will be no transition period in his second term. From day one, his administration intends to implement policies that have already sparked significant debate across the nation and beyond.
Among the most controversial measures, Trump has reaffirmed his plan to aggressively close the borders and initiate a mass deportation operation. According to his administration, these actions aim to protect national security and reclaim control of the borders. Critics warn, however, that such measures could escalate humanitarian crises in the region and strain diplomatic relations with neighboring countries.
On civil rights, Trump has stated his intention to limit gender recognition to two categories, male and female, and to ban transgender women from participating in women's sports. Additionally, he plans to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in public institutions and private companies, calling them unnecessary and divisive. Advocacy groups have condemned these proposals, describing them as a significant rollback of fundamental rights and freedoms.
In Trump's words, these policies aim to restore traditional values and return greatness to America. Yet, critics argue that these measures are a calculated move to solidify support among his conservative base, potentially at the expense of social cohesion and democratic principles.
What's clear is that these promises, if fulfilled, will redefine the nation's political and social landscape.
The pressing question remains, how far will Trump go in his quest to enact his agenda?
We'll examine the international repercussions of Trump's return to power and his role in addressing global conflicts. Stay with us.
Donald Trump's return to the presidency has reignited conversations about economic policies and technological advancements. Promises of deregulation, tax cuts, and a focus on artificial intelligence have sparked optimism and concerns. To discuss this, we're joined by economist Peter Ross and AI ethics researcher Anna Blake. Peter Ross is a seasoned economist with over 2 decades of expertise in macroeconomic analysis and fiscal policy in developed economies. Anna Blake is a leading researcher specializing in AI innovation and the ethical challenges of emerging technologies. Welcome to both of you. Peter, let's begin with you. From an economic perspective, what impact do you expect Trump's fiscal policies, such as tax cuts and deregulation, will have on U.S. markets?
Thank you, John. These policies are likely to boost short-term economic growth, particularly in sectors like energy and manufacturing. However, the long-term effects depend on whether the administration can offset the loss of tax revenue. Without cuts in public spending, these measures could significantly increase the fiscal deficit, posing risks to economic stability.
Anna, from a technological standpoint, how do you interpret the administration's focus on leading the age of artificial intelligence?
Thank you, John. The emphasis on AI leadership is promising, but it's a double-edged sword. While it could position the U.S. as a global leader in innovation, the lack of clear regulations poses risks. Without ethical safeguards, advancements in AI could exacerbate inequality and lead to misuse, particularly in areas like surveillance or biased decision-making.
Peter, Trump has also hinted at imposing tariffs. What impact could these have on the global economy and American consumers?
Tariffs are a risky strategy. They might protect some domestic industries in the short term, but they often lead to trade wars, reducing global economic growth. For American consumers, tariffs typically result in higher prices for goods, compounding existing inflationary pressures.
Anna, how could Trump's approach to AI influence the U.S. position in global competition, particularly with China?
The US already has a strong edge in technological innovation, but the competition with China is intense. If the administration fosters collaboration between the public and private sectors, it could strengthen that position. However, ignoring ethical and regulatory frameworks might undermine global trust in American technology.
To conclude, what scenarios do you foresee if these policies are fully enacted? Peter, we'll start with you.
In the best-case scenario, these policies could stimulate growth and reduce unemployment. However, inflation, rising interest rates, and a growing deficit could temper those gains, creating a mixed economic outlook.
In technology, we could see rapid advancements in AI, but with significant risks if inclusivity and ethical concerns are neglected. The key will be balancing innovation with responsibility.
Peter Ross and Anna Blake, thank you for your comprehensive analysis. As these policies take shape, their impacts on both the economy and technology will be critical to watch. Thank you for joining us on Global AI.
John.
On the international stage, Donald Trump appears to be reasserting himself as a key player in resolving global crises. During his recent trip to Paris, he met with French President Emmanuel Macron and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss the ongoing war in Ukraine and shared global challenges.
Trump has announced that he has a plan to bring a swift resolution to the Ukraine conflict. While the details of this plan remain unclear, his proposal has already elicited a response from Moscow. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov stated that they are open to hearing Trump's proposals, but emphasized that considering a proposal does not mean accepting it.
The international community is divided. Some leaders view Trump as a potential mediator who could break the current stalemate, while others worry that his unilateral approach and past criticisms of NATO may weaken critical alliances during a volatile period.
Additionally, Trump has reiterated his intent to renegotiate international trade agreements, warning of new tariffs. While this strategy aims to bolster domestic economic growth, experts caution that it could heighten tensions with strategic allies, particularly in Asia and Europe, and exacerbate global inflation.
As Trump attempts to project global leadership, his initial moves are already stirring both hope and concern.
The big question is, will he be able to balance his international ambitions with the need for cooperation in an interconnected world?
In our next section, we'll turn to the economic landscape, exploring the expectations and challenges of Trump's policies for the U.S. markets and its citizens. Donald Trump's return to the presidency is poised to reshape the global stage. His proposed peace plan for Ukraine, evolving relations with Russia, and stance on traditional alliances like NATO have raised both hopes and concerns worldwide. To analyze these dynamics, we're joined by retired diplomat Jonathan Clark and international relations expert Rachel Simmons. Jonathan Clark has over 30 years of diplomatic experience, including work on multilateral negotiations and international treaty agreements. Rachel Simmons is an international relations analyst specializing in global conflicts and contemporary geopolitical dynamics. Welcome to both of you. Jonathan, let's begin with you. Trump has claimed to have a plan to end the war in Ukraine quickly. Based on your diplomatic experience, how realistic is this proposal?
Thank you, Christine. Resolving a conflict as entrenched as the war in Ukraine is an extraordinarily complex task. While Trump's confidence may resonate with his base, the reality is that any plan must address the fundamental issues driving the conflict, including territorial disputes and security guarantees. Without a comprehensive and inclusive approach involving Ukraine, Russia, and key allies, achieving a lasting resolution will be extremely challenging.
Rachel, Russia has stated that it is open to considering proposals from Trump. How do you interpret this statement?
It's a strategic move, Christine. Russia likely sees an opportunity to test the waters and potentially extract concessions under a new U.S. administration. However, considering a proposal doesn't equate to accepting it. Moscow's primary goals, retaining influence over Ukraine and reducing Western sanctions, remain non-negotiable. Any proposal that undermines Ukraine's sovereignty will likely face strong resistance from Kyiv and its allies.
Jonathan, Trump has previously been critical of NATO. If his administration distances itself from the alliance, what could be the consequences for global security?
Distancing from NATO would have profound implications, Christine. The alliance serves as a cornerstone of Western security. Weakening it could embolden adversaries like Russia and China, while also creating uncertainty among U.S. allies. However, it could also pressure European members to increase their defense contributions, which aligns with Trump's previous demands. The risk is in striking the right balance without undermining collective security.
Rachel, how do you think this approach will impact global perceptions of the United States as a leader in international affairs?
Perceptions matter greatly in diplomacy, Christine. If the U.S. focuses solely on bilateral agreements and downplays multilateral alliances, it risks losing credibility as a global leader. While the U.S. remains a dominant power, its influence relies on partnerships and trust. A unilateral approach might yield short-term gains, but could erode its long-term standing.
Finally, for both of you, what scenarios do you foresee for the global order under Trump's second term?
Trump's administration could redefine U.S. foreign policy by emphasizing transactional diplomacy. This might yield breakthroughs in certain areas, like trade or limited peace agreements. However, a lack of consistency or disregard for traditional alliances could destabilize the global order, creating more uncertainty than stability.
I agree with Jonathan. Trump's approach could lead to short-term successes, but at a significant cost to multilateral frameworks. The risk is that adversaries exploit any divisions among Western allies, further shifting the global balance of power away from traditional democracies.
Jonathan Clark and Rachel Simmons, thank you for your thorough analysis and perspectives. The implications of these strategies will be felt far beyond the U.S., and we'll continue to monitor their developments closely here at Global AI. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, we've explored the critical issues surrounding Donald Trump's return to the presidency. From domestic policies reshaping civil rights to international strategies and economic expectations. The decisions made by this administration will undoubtedly influence both the nation and the world in profound and far-reaching ways.
At Global AI, we are committed to delivering in-depth and impartial reporting, empowering you to stay informed and critically engaged as we navigate these transformative times together.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Remember, knowledge is the most powerful tool in moments of change.
I'm John Andrews.
And I'm Christine Harris. This has been Global AI. Good night.